Every day, Big Macintosh came from the orchards at about the same time. Ever since his injury healed, Applejack waited for him every day, but never had the courage to ask him. She had had so many chances to ask him, but she couldn't do it. She was never ready. It was a day like any other. Applejack was lying in wait near the door, staring longingly at it. She had dreamed of him since she was younger. He was so big and strong. As she daydreamed, the time flew past, and soon enough it was the time of day again. Applejack heard a knock at the door. She knew who it was, and she was ready. "Come in," she said in a sweet, suggestive tone of voice. "Oh, hey, sis, I'm done. What are you, what are you wearing?" Big Macintosh asked. As she opened the door, I'm wearing... Fucking hell. "I'm wearing nothing at all," she replied, flicking her tail. "I can see that. What are you up to, sis?" "I'm just waiting for my big, strong brother to get back home. But now you're here," she responded, walking over to him. "Do you have something to give me or something?" he asked, rather confused by her advances. "You bet I do," she replied, getting down on her front legs, her plump rails, her tail pulled back. Quite. "Applejack, you know I can't do that. You're my sister." She turned around and kissed him. "Is that all that's stopping you?" She rubbed herself up against him as she circled him, staring at him with a lustful look in her eyes. "Yep, I just don't think I can." "Don't think so. Just do," she replied, getting back down in front of him, wiggling her plot seductively. "All right, but just this once. Don't you dare tell Apple Bloom about this," he said, advancing towards her. "I wouldn't dream of it," she replied, beginning to feel his warm fur rub against her back. As she saw his hooves appear in her peripheral vision, she knew it was almost time, and she braced herself as his fleshy member prodded her moist, waiting love hole. "Here I come," he exclaimed, thrusting forward. Applejack gasped as she was forced forward, and her hat fell off her head in front of her. She could feel his meaty manhood penetrated her moist pony hole. A spark of pleasure ran down her spine, causing her hair to stand on end. Big Macintosh pushed deeper, forcing his sister to the floor. His thrust began slow, but then started to quicken as he adjusted to the tight walls of his sister's pony pussy. Her breath came in short yips as he quickened his pace more, pummeling her filly flower and driving her crazy with jolts of pleasure. "Oh, well, Applejack, you are really tight down there. You're my..." "First," she managed to say between grips, and then it struck him. His sister would much rather love him than any pony in Ponyville. He was touched. Just then he heard a cry, a great, exasperated cry as Applejack reached her climax. Big Mac had done this before. He knew how to hold himself back. But poor Applejack was victim to the limits of her own body. as she orgasmed violently, every muscle in the young filly's body tensing up. She was left breathless, panting, her pussy dripping pony juice as her cheeks flushed red. Big Mac took this opportunity to flip her on her back so he could look her in the eyes as he finished her off. She looked cute, her cheeks bright red, her breath coming out in short gasps. Her eyes held a lustful stare he could not help but meet. As he resumed his thrusts, he could see her wincing with every push and decided to slow down. Applejack, are you hurt, sis? I certainly don't mean to hurt you. I'm okay. A little winded is all. Don't worry, and please, don't stop. Just tell me if I'm hurting you, okay? Applejack nodded, and Big Mac continued with his slow pace, nearing a climax of his own. He loved to stare into her eyes as he rammed his meaty horse tool into her apple basket. Watch the pleasure splash over her face. He was beginning to feel a connection between them, greater than just brother and sister. He was nearing his climax, very close, and he let her know so. Oh, Applejack, I'm gonna come any second now. You feel so great, sis. I just can't hold it in. Here I come. They both yelled in cries of passion as Big Macintosh fell. They both yelled out in cries of passion as Big Macintosh began to fill his sister with his potent stallion seed, filled her basket, some leaking out to the ground below. Yes, fill me with your love, she exclaimed, climaxing a second time from the sensation of warm seed filling her womb. As the last of Big Mac's love poured into her, he pulled his deflating cock from her, and more of his warm, sticky cum oozed forth from her. They were both left panting. Applejack looked up into his eyes and met her gaze again. Brother? She asked in a cute, tender tone of voice. Can we do this again tomorrow? The only response he could give was, "Yep."